All right, so let's talk about scale drawings. Scale drawings are basically a way for you to take an object that's on paper, usually, and make it a real life representation. Make sure that everything matches the sizes on the paper, matches the sizes in real life. Very simple process to set these up. So, what you're going to basically do is take the original ratio that's given to you and write it as a fraction. And then you're going to plug in the number that they gave you to find the number that they're looking for. So let's take an example. So Babatunde draws a drinking glass on graph paper using the scale shown below. The glass has a length of 8 units in the drawing. Okay, so we want to know what is the height in centimeters of the actual glass. So if we start off with the fact that the glass has a length of 8 units in the drawing, and we have our scale here. So the scale, so in my scale, we saw that so this is 1 here, 1 square here, and 1 square here. So 2 units represents 2.5 centimeters in real life. Once I know that, I'm in good shape because the scale of 2 units is actually 2.5 centimeters. I'm just going to write 2 units over 2.5 centimeters. And so the scale is 2 units and the actual is 2.5, which should be equal to, now I'm going to go back to the problem. I'm looking for the height in centimeters of the actual glass. Well, the actual glass, I don't know. So there should be X centimeters automatically. So then by default, how do I know how much the scale number of units was? Well, it told me the glass has a length of 8 units in the drawing. So I'm going to put 8 units in the scale. I could have also confirmed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But either way it goes, once you have it set up, the scale went from 2 units to 8 units. The actual went from 2.5 to I don't know. So we're going to solve it by cross multiplying 2.5 by 8 and then dividing it by 2. And when you do that math, 2.5 times 8 divided by 2, you get 10. So this is going to actually be 10 centimeters. This glass is actually 10 centimeters tall. All right, so that's all you really had to do. Find the scale, write it as a fraction, write the number that's given, paired with the quantity with the same unit or same situation, and then solve for the number that they asked you for. So this answer should be 10 centimeters. So this time, they're asking you for the scale again, or they're giving you a scale problem, but this time they don't bother to give you the pictures. It makes no difference. A scale on a blueprint drawing of a house shows that 10 centimeters represents 2 meters. What number of actual meters are represented by 18 centimeters on the blueprint? Well, again, I know that this is the scale. Centimeters is going to go up and get bigger to become meters. This is the actual. So I'm just going to write 10 centimeters over 2 meters. And again, this is my scale. And here's my actual. And so that should be equal to, it says what number of actual meters are represented. So if I'm looking for the number of actual meters, then I obviously wouldn't know the actual numbers. So I'm going to put the X in the meters area. And it says represented by 18 centimeters on the blueprint. So since 18 centimeters is from the scale or from the blueprint, then that's going to be 18 centimeters here. Then I'm very simply going to cross multiply 18 by 2. Divide that by the final number, which is 10. 36 divided by 10 should be 3.6 meters. 3.6 meters should be the number that I'm looking for. So 18 centimeters on the blueprint should be 3.6 meters in real life. Leonardo draws a cookie on graph paper using the scale shown below. The cookie has a diameter of 12.5 centimeters in the drawing. Which of the following drawings best represents the diameter of the cookie at the scale Leonardo chose? Okay, so when we go through this, now we have to choose which one of these cookies best represents the proper scale. So I would say it's kind of like thinking backwards. So Leonardo draws a cookie on a graph paper using the scale shown below. The cookie has a diameter of 12.5 centimeters. So I'm looking for the one that shows 12.5 centimeters in real life. And that has a scale that by the time I utilize that scale will get me to the 12.5 real centimeters. All right, so in this case, the best thing to look at first is the given scale. I know at the end of the day, I need to have an actual amount. So let's look at these scales. All the scales, so I have 2 units here, 2 units ends up being 5 centimeters on this one. Same thing for this one. 2 units is 5 centimeters here. And then this one, 2 units is also 5 centimeters. 5 centimeters. So since all of the scales are the same, then I just need to find the one that properly matches up with 12.5 centimeters in real life. So I'm very simply going to plug in my given numbers. So I have 2 units, I'm going to use UN, over 5 centimeters. For this drawing, it's telling me that I should have 12.5 units at the top. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 12.5 centimeters. So this one is wrong. I'll do it again. 2 units, 5 centimeters equals, this has 5 units here, okay? So this one is 5 units, and I'm trying to end up with 12.5 centimeters, then that's a possibility. So this one is saying that I gave you the number of units, but I did not tell you how many actual centimeters. So that might be true. So let's solve this one and see what happens. So if I cross multiply 5 times 5 to be 25, divide that by 2, and my final answer should be 25 divided by 2, which is indeed 12.5 centimeters. So this scale did end up with a result of 12.5 centimeters as my final actual diameter of the cookie. Let's just confirm this last one is wrong then. So 2 units over 5 centimeters, which we said here, this is 2.5 units. So if I put 2.5 units on the top with the same scale, then obviously that's not going to turn out right. Yes, I can still put X centimeters, but when I divide it, or cross multiply and divide, I'm not going to end up with 12.5. So this one was wrong. So the only answer that made sense should have been B. All right. All right, so that's pretty much it. Again, what we do, find your scale. Once you find your scale, you're gonna write it as a fraction. So you're gonna have the scale, usually the scale, typically, over the actual. And then you're gonna find whatever the given information is on the other side, match up the units. And once you match up the units, then you'll be able to find the 4th item with no issue. Hope that helps.